Hello and welcome to another episode of Peace's Diary. This is the part 2 of When Trust is Broken in Marriage. Please, if you are new to this channel, you may do well to hit the subscribe button so you can find the part 1 of this series, which is basically an introduction of trust and its vitality when it comes to any meaningful relationship, especially Christian marriage. Today, Daniel and Grace permitted me to share their story as a basis to this message of how trust can be broken. Daniel and Grace had been married for 11 years. They met at a church choir rehearsal in Birmingham, United Kingdom. She was singing alto, he was late and took the only empty seat beside her. By the third rehearsal, he was arriving early for rehearsals. By Christmas, he had proposed. Their home was the kind other couples quietly envied. Bible verses on the walls, family prayers every morning. 3 children, Elijah, 8, Hannah, 6, and little Samuel, who had just learned to say, Daddy, like it was a song. Daniel became a deacon. Grace grew and started to lead the women's fellowship. On Sundays, they sat in the third pew from the front, left side, same as always. It started, as it often does, with something small. A work colleague named Priya, late project deadlines, shared takeaway meals at the office. Daniel told himself it was nothing, just friendship, just convenience. He never planned to fall. Most people don't. Grace noticed things before she had words for them. The slight delay before he answered his phone. The way he laughed differently when he stepped outside to take calls. The cologne on a Tuesday evening when he'd only been to the office. She prayed about it. She told herself she was imagining things. She was a pastor's daughter. She knew what broken marriages looked like, and this wasn't that. Until the night his phone lit up twice while he was in the shower. She didn't mean to read it, but the temptation was hard, and she did. What she found out left her shocked to her bones, perplexed to her core. All they had built for 11 years came crumbling down her feet. She needed to sit down now. She was sitting on the edge of the bed when he came out, towel around his waist, humming softly. He saw her face, and the humming stopped. She didn't shout. That surprised them both. Her face turned blue, cyanosed, you'd think. She simply said, "Who is Priya, Daniel?" The silence that followed lasted only 4 seconds, but it broke something that 11 years had built. He sat down on the floor, not the bed, the floor, and he wept in a way she had never seen a grown man weep. He confessed everything. 4 months. He said it meant nothing. He said he didn't know why. He said he was sorry and continued to say it until the word stopped sounding like a word. She listened. Then she picked up Samuel's toy from the floor, placed it on the dresser carefully, and walked out of the room. No words, no cry, no emotions, just gone. The weeks that followed were the quietest of their lives. Grace moved through the house like a woman learning to walk again after a fall. Careful, deliberate, uncertain of the ground. She still made breakfast. She still took the children to school. She sang in church because God, she reasoned, had not done this to her. But she sang with her eyes closed now. It was the only place she could go where nothing hurt. Daniel slept in the spare room. He went to their pastor. He left letters under the kitchen door. Not texts, letters, handwritten, that Grace read alone, and then folded into the pages of her Bible. The children knew something was wrong. Elijah stopped asking why Daddy wasn't at the breakfast table. That silence from an 8-year-old was the thing that finally made Daniel fall to his knees in the spare room one night and ask God not for forgiveness of sin, but for the chance to become someone worth forgiving. They entered counseling, Christian marriage counseling, in the 3rd month. It was not beautiful. It was not a movie reconciliation with swelling music. Grace said things in that room she had never said aloud in 11 years of marriage. About loneliness she had buried under Bible study rotas. About the times she had felt invisible. Daniel listened without defending himself. The counselor had told him that was the only rule that mattered right now. Just listen. You don't get to manage her pain. Trust, their counselor told them, is not rebuilt in a moment. It is rebuilt in 1,000 ordinary moments. The kept promise, the answered call, the choosing again and again to come home. 14 months later, Daniel and Grace renewed their vows. Not in the church. That felt too public, too performative. In their back garden, on a Wednesday evening, with their 3 children watching and their pastor reading from Ruth. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Grace cried. So did Daniel. So did Elijah. Their marriage today is not the same marriage it was. It is, in some ways, Grace finds difficult to explain, more honest, more deliberate, more aware of how fragile and precious the ordinary Tuesday evenings are, the ones you think will always be there until they aren't. The trust that was broken was real, the wound was real, but so was the choosing, hard, daily, unglamorous, to heal. Some names and details have been changed to reflect the privacy of real experiences this story is drawn from. In the end, I would want us, dear viewers, to reflect on this sole example. Some other examples out there could be worse, others less dramatic than the one described. However, the same pain is felt when trust is broken. What way forward then? How can this healing happen for real? If you have liked this part 2 video, please like, subscribe to the channel, comment and share with friends to help assist this message reach everyone. Someone might thank you for this someday, and I would be really grateful if you help spread the good news of God's word and its transforming power. See you all in the next video, the part 3 of this video and its grand finale. Looking forward to seeing you there. Shalom.